Hello guys, JongLi here, and I'm bringing you guys another online commentary battle for Rome Total War. This time it's a 2 versus 2 31k rules battle. Now, I've been doing a lot of 31k battles lately, mainly because I'm finding them a bit more enjoyable right now. And yeah, the teamwork and overall gameplay style, I'm just finding it a bit more enjoyable right now. So, yeah, I'm playing with my ally Uther's Dragons of the Brotherhood clan, and we're playing against Amos, who is a regular in the lobby, but I don't know much else about him, and Indi, who is a well-known player. So, Amos, although I don't know him very well, clearly has played 31k before, so we'll just get the battle started here. It looks like he's brought 3 Archer Auxilia, 1 Roman Archer, and the upgrades on these guys seem to be gold. Um, and the upgrades on these archers probably gold as well. So we'll see how that works out for him. We've also got Uther, who's brought this Roman armored general unit, which is quite an interesting pick. What he's doing with this is he's baiting out Pila, and he's moving them around as quickly as he can, so when they throw the Pila, they actually miss, as you might have seen there. So most of the Pila doesn't hit his armored general unit. It is quite risky though, obviously, because the general can get killed by the Pila if you're not careful. And it's also, in my opinion, not a good way to spend your money, but we can discuss that another time. So we've moved up together and the Pila War has started. Uther's arranged his Praetorian cavalry in a very interesting formation. I'm not exactly sure what he's trying to do with this, but it looks cool, so yeah, props for that. Amos is doing some work with these Archer Auxilia here, but he's just shooting the front of some of these guys. Maybe shooting the general unit. Yeah, he's shooting the general unit of Uther, and that is doing some damage, I guess. Uther's pushing quite aggressively with these loose urbans. And again, he's taking advantage of the auto peeler that Amos has set his guys on, and he's just again trying to trigger the peeler off these guys and onto the general unit instead. But he has to be careful, obviously. The general's unit already has been cut down to 15 guys, so he might want to be wary of that. Over here, he's managed to squeeze a lot of peeler into this one urban cohort unit, which will prove to be pretty vital towards the end of the game. If it ends up a close battle, you definitely don't want the enemy having reserves of peeler left. On this side, I'm macroing my guys, or trying to macro my guys. Indi, I think, was a bit slow with the peeler micro on this side. He was throwing a lot of peeler into some of my testudos, so he could work on that. But yeah, I'm just trying to get peeler into these guys, and obviously I'm not too great myself. I accidentally forgot to press backspace, and these guys just charged in, so I had to pull them out, which did cost me a few guys. But I'm getting some very nice peeler shots into these guys at the front. This unit's already down to 41, just half a unit. So that should prove beneficial in the long run. Nothing much has happened over here. It's like one urban cohort, probably one of his peerless greens has gone down. And he seems to be trying to swing this way. So he's trying to swing to our left, but he's obviously taking some peeler in the process. This general unit still taking a lot of missile fire. It's taken many volleys of missiles. He's taken peeler and arrows now. So with these Archer Auxilia, I think they could be used more effectively. You see Biscuits and a lot of other popular YouTubers just using the flaming arrows function, but in my opinion, it's really not effective if you're not planning to route the unit very soon. So yeah, I think you should just put them on the normal arrows and maybe shoot some of my cav or the sides of some of my guys or Uther's guys, because this really isn't very efficient and it's not good use of money if you're gonna use it like that. On this side, Indi is just going in for a few testy charges just to see how things work out. Nothing too serious. I'm just going to try and counter him appropriately here. Uther's gone in for a charge with the Roman armored general here onto this testudo, and it hasn't really done that much. Oh, okay. So over here, Uther's moved up his Praetorian cavalry, and he's taken the cavalry engagement over here. But it looks like Amos was ready for him, so he was able to just engage with 3 or 4 of his Praetorian cavalry first, and then charge in with 2 more in the backside. And this has resulted in a lot of Uther's Praetorian cav routing. Some of them will come back though. I didn't see it because I was microing here and Indi was doing like these charges and I had to counter them. So I wasn't really paying attention, and I think Uther wanted help with this, but I mean my cav were all the way over here, so it would have taken me a while to get there anyway. But I'm going to move my cavalry over here and I'm going to protect Uther's cavalry so they can regroup, because at this point it's actually, although most of Uther's cavalry has been taken out, the chances are still kind of 50-50. So in this situation I wanted to maintain a kind of calmness, and that would help me kind of figure out what to do from here. So I'm just gonna sit my guys here and regroup. I definitely don't want to charge in right now because the infantry is still fighting strong and these cavalry will just double charge me, so I'll just get wrecked. So I can't be on the aggressive at this point, and Uther's going to kind of get the hint as well and just kind of regroup. It's also good to note that in this battle, my typing wasn't really working, even though my buttons were working. Like the chat wasn't really working for me, so I couldn't really communicate properly with Uther as I wanted to. So Uther's going to retreat most of his guys here and just sacrifice 2 kind of depleted units to do that. And I was just body blocking with these guys here. I'm going to get some really nice peeler into these units as they run, so that's going to yeah, as you can see, some really nice peeler there. So that's going to help. And yeah, this is kind of where you want all your small decisions and your micro to pay off. So although it might not seem like much, absorbing peeler with the testudo, absorbing peeler with the Roman general, absorbing arrow fire with the Roman general, this all helps, especially towards the end game when every volley of peeler and every volley of arrows will count. So it's good to keep that in mind. I know I've been doing pretty well in the peeler duel, so I'm going to kind of hedge my bets around our infantry being able to defeat their infantry and forcing them to make the first move. So Amos and Indi are clearly ready for any cav strike I go in with, so I can't be the first one to charge. It's just a no-no, I just can't do it. So I have to micro my infantry very carefully, get some peeler in, absorb peeler with the testudos, any remaining peeler they have left, and again, you can see here Uther's getting some really nice peeler in. We're going to absorb peeler with the testudos, get nice peeler in where I can, and basically just try and get the infantry edge, so which will force Indi or Amos to charge in first, and I'll be able to get a counter charge in, and that's our best bet at winning. So Uther's also kind of taken a defensive approach. He's just going to block his guys up here. I'm just going to hold off these urbans of here. You should put this unit in tight formation, it's much better when fighting in melee. But yeah, as you can see, Indi's feeling pressured over here. He's seen 1 or 2 of these units are out, and he's going in for a charge now. My guys are pretty well prepared to receive this charge. They're in guard mode, and they're standing still, so that's always a big plus. I've tried to go in with a counter charge, and it looks like it's worked to some degree. I routed a few of the SPQR units there, but I see Amos coming in with a counter charge of his own, and this is pretty dangerous. So at this point, I was pretty scared. I pulled back because I'd routed a few units. I didn't want to get too greedy with that. And I'm going to start shifting more of these backline units from the right side over because, as you can see, I've got this side pretty much secured. I have the infantry advantage on this side, and if I just leave it there, they should win. So as long as they remain undisturbed, so I can afford to put more infantry units over here where it matters. So I'm going with a counter charge now, while Amos or Indi or whatever is pulling out their cav. I'm going to try and go with a counter charge and try and get some of these infantry units routed, because the more we get routed, the more pressure Uther can put on with his urbans here. So I've gone in with a kind of little charge there, but I've pulled out just before they can reform and countercharge. And we're going to try and again align our guys and get them ready to receive another charge. But by this time I've already regrouped my guys, and I'm also ready to go in for a countercharge. So I'm going in for the countercharge here. As you can see, that was really devastating. I mean, they've got 11 units of cav maybe. Just going in for one massive charge is going to be pretty devastating. I've gone for a charge kind of trying to go down the side, so I'm going to see if that works. It looks like a few Brutii units have routed here. And these units at the back that Uther's put there actually do make a difference. So by putting the units across this kind of metaphorical line here, Uther raises the morale of his troops by a little bit, which helps them hold longer, and also demoralizes the enemy a little bit. So they do rout quicker. And as you can see, we routed a large chunk of our opponent's stuff right there. So I'm going in for another charge now with my remaining cav. I see Amos going in for another charge, and this is the point where they kind of started panicking, because you could see that they were just cycle charging. They were just pulling back and charging again, pulling back and charging again as quickly as they possibly could. So at this point, it's really important to just maintain a level head and just go for the counter charges and play it safe, because at this point we do have the game kind of sealed in our favor. So I went in for a charge there, and that manages to rout all their cavalry that they had spent on that charge. So whoever charges first usually gets the worst end of it, and whoever counter charges usually does come out on top. So I'm going to chase some units around now. We've just got too many urbans at this point for Indi and Amos to deal with. I'm going to charge in some Praetorian cav here, but it's going to be not very effective. So some of them will rout, but I mean, we've got so many infantry units left that it doesn't really matter. A large part of the reason we were able to win with our infantry was also because Amos brought so many archer units. So he cut, I believe, he probably cut 4 urbans or 3 urbans and 1 Praetorian cav unit for those archer auxiliary units. So that meant we had less urbans to deal with as well on the opponent's side. So even though we lost so many cav units over here, we were able to just regroup and use the infantry to our advantage, and wait for a point where we could decisively swing the battle back into our favor. So well played to everyone there, especially Uther. I was a bit scared that he would panic, but he didn't. He remained calm and regrouped, and that let us seal the victory in the end. Also well played to our opponents, Indi and Amos. As you can see by the battle statistics, the Praetorian cavalry there really making a big difference, but the urbans obviously getting some kills as well. So just shows you how important cavalry is in these sorts of battles. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.